Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to our lecturer Dr. Aiza and our fellow classmates. Today, we are from Tutorial 3, Group 5. We'll be presenting our case study 1, Defeating the System. My name is Nurhidayah binti Masri, 25073420. Will now be presenting the 10-point summary for defeating the system. In 2015, Volkswagen, an established German car manufacturer since 1937, was found to be secretly using software that allowed its diesel vehicles to cheat emissions tests. The scandal surfaced after West Virginia University's researchers compared lab test results with real driving conditions and found extremely higher emissions level than the amount approved by the government, which exposed the cheating software. The US Environmental Protection Agency later confirmed after thorough investigation that Volkswagen diesel engine contained software that detected testing conditions and temporarily changed the vehicle performance to pass the test. EPA revealed a number of 500,000 Volkswagen diesel cars sold in the US were equipped with the cheating software, and Volkswagen later admitted that about 11 million cars worldwide contain the cheating software. The scandal severely damaged Volkswagen image, causing a major loss of public trust. The CEO, Martin Winterkorn, resigned after the scandal surfaced and insisted he was unaware of the cheating software. Investigation also could not clearly identify who was responsible and had authorized the use of cheating software. Investigations revealed the Volkswagen company culture that was demanding, fear-driven culture where employees felt pressure to meet unrealistic targets, hence pressuring them to make unethical choices. Volkswagen initially tried to blame technical issues to minimize the scale of the problem, but eventually admitted the cheating software. The current CEO, Matthias Mahler, aims to reform Volkswagen culture by encouraging openness and preparing the company for future trends in auto industry such as electric vehicles, autonomous driving, and advanced technologies. Volkswagen faced over $20 billion in fines and legal settlements, along with criminal charges for deception and lasting damage to the company reputation and public trust. I will now pass to the next person.
The need for change inside Volkswagen is influenced by both internal and external factors. Internally, one major factor was Volkswagen corporate culture. This includes a lot of higher-ups, but especially under the former CEO Martin Winterkorn. People say that his leadership style was as highly aggressive and performance-driven, to the point where employees feared failure and speaking up. This fear-based environment discouraged transparency and ethical decision-making, which allow misconduct to not be seen. Because targets were so demanding, employees felt pressure to deliver end results even at any cost, even if it's meant to bending or breaking rules that leads to the Dieselgate event. Additionally, the scandal shows weak internal compliance and control system. Volkswagen don't have any effective monitoring system to detect or prevent unethical practices. This failure pushes the company to restructure its internal system, which they introduce whistleblower platforms and enhance ethical oversight. In fact, as a part of legal settlement, Volkswagen even have to work with an external compliance monitor to improve the internal control framework. Well, that's how bad it is. Now, let's look at the external forces. The biggest external trigger was the United States Environmental Protection Agency investigation in 2015, where EPA discovered that the defeat device software allowed cars to pass emission tests in laboratories while emitting much higher nitrogen oxide levels during real driving. This is where the crisis got worse. Following, there was an intense government and regulatory pressure, particularly from EU themselves. After the Dieselgate event, stricter emission regulations were introduced, including the real driving emission test under the Euro 6 standard, not just by using lab results, which you can say limits the possibility of manipulations. Additionally, global legal and financial pressure also played a huge role. The company faced lawsuits and fines worldwide, which costing them probably around 30 billion euros, which put the company under a lot of pressure to reform and restore credibility. Lastly, is the public backlash and a loss of customer trust. The legal company's reputation dropped significantly, and Volkswagen customer demanded transparency, accountability, and more environmental responsibility action, which in this case Restoring brand image become a key driver for change.
Now, we can clearly see from the cases, Volkswagen possesses the traits that suit the description in the whitewater rapid metaphor. Both the terms calm water and whitewater rapid are metaphors used to roughly understand how companies respond to organizational changes. Using the calm water metaphor, the company can be viewed as a large ship crossing a calm sea. Think of it as a best case scenario where the captain, sailor, and crew have an exact idea of where they are heading. The overall journey is rather calm and foreseeable, even if there is some occasional storm that is still manageable. This situation describes when a company only has to undergo small changes every so often, as everything is in hand. In contrast, whitewater rapid refers to the situation where everyone in the small raft hasn't ever shipped together before. They don't know where the destination is or how long it will take them to get there. The river is aggressive and unpredictable, which causes them to always rethink and execute different plans. For Volkswagen, they are likely to operate within a whitewater rapid environment. Managing changes in the company is always a continuous process. Constant major changes is the current underlying condition of the company, not just an occasional event. The stability and predictability under the calm waters metaphor is non existent, not only to Volkswagen, but also to most companies nowadays.
Hi, I'm CIB1001 and I'll be discussing question on which of these changes, which is people, structure, and technology, that needs changing at Volkswagen. Change is an organizational reality that's called organizational change, which is any alteration or adaptation of an organization structure, technology, or people. For Volkswagen, changes is definitely needed in all three areas, which just I mentioned earlier about people, structure, and technology. But the most crucial parts that need changes are people and technology. That we're going to discuss it even deeper. First and foremost, change in people. So what is change in people? Change in people refers to changes in employee attitudes, expectations, perceptions, or behavior. The scandal that happened in Volkswagen revealed a deep ethical problem within their culture. To support this statement, the company's culture under the former CEO, Martin Winterkorn, was described as confident, cutthroat, and insular, proving that Volkswagen needs changes in terms of the people and culture aspect. At Volkswagen, a result-driven culture combined with rigid hierarchies created an atmosphere where employees felt pressure to meet unrealistic goals even at the cost of violating ethical standards. Therefore, the first change is breaking the rigid hierarchies in Volkswagen. Volkswagen had a very top-down structure where employees didn't question authority. So, by doing this change, it should be able to empower workers to challenge inappropriate decisions in Volkswagen. Next changes also need to be made in the leadership by developing leaders who model integrity and accountability. Managers must stop using pressure towards the employees, but instead demonstrate ethical behavior. As a result of this act, employees will follow the right values rather than installing the defeat device, which for me it is considered as unethical behavior nowadays. Besides, change is also needed in people mindset and values which will promote openness, integrity, accountability, and the most crucial one that I think it is needed in Volkswagen, which is ethical behavior. This will eventually make employees feel safe to speak up if there are any problems in the organization, and the main point is that they can make the honest decisions without fear of getting punished by their superiors. Last but not least, technology is also one of the most crucial aspects that needs to be changed for Volkswagen. Changing technology encompasses modifications in the way work is done or the methods and equipment used. In this case, Volkswagen's main issue was the misuse of the engine control software known as the defeat device, which was intentionally designed to cheat the emission tests, a fact widely reported by the investigation into the scandal. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency (EPA), at 2015, The software allowed vehicles to detect testing conditions and temporarily reduce emissions, which further highlighted the need for stronger technological oversight. The change to this that Volkswagen should first improve the software development and constantly monitor the system to make sure all the programs comply with ethical standards. Besides that, the company should invest in cleaner and more sustainable technologies such as electric and hybrid vehicles. This change will restore the company's image and the customer's trust, and in the future, this scandal or the problem faced by Volkswagen won't happen again. I think that's all from me. I will pass it to the next presenter.
My name is Shihani Safia, metric number 240000730, and I will be discussing question number 3. What organizational development efforts might work at Volkswagen? Explain your choices and what challenges will managers face in making these changes. For the first question, we focus on 4 organizational development efforts that can work well at Volkswagen after the emissions scandal, such as process consultation, team building, intergroup development, and survey feedback. First, process consultation. This involves bringing in external consultants to study how the company actually works, such as its workflow, communication, and decision making. This is important because the scandal showed that Volkswagen had weak internal control and poor transparency. With process consultation, managers can understand where unethical decisions happen and why. This helps them redesign better systems and prevent similar issues in the future. Next is team building. Team building improves communication and collaboration among employees. Here, workers get to practice active listening and giving constructive feedback, which Volkswagen clearly lacked before. It also strengthens relationships between departments, encouraging more openness and cooperation. Overall, it aligns employees with Volkswagen's new goal of integrity and innovation. Intergroup development focuses on improving interactions between different departments. At Volkswagen, there was poor coordination between the research and development team and top management, which contributed to wrong decisions being made. By having workshops and activities that encourage cooperation, employees can improve attitude, increase trust, and coordinate better when making ethical decisions. Finally, we have survey feedback. Managers can run anonymous surveys to understand employees' attitude towards ethics, decision-making, leadership, and communication. This helps identify any gaps in ethical awareness or trust within the company. It also allows managers to see how employees view the past unethical culture and whether they are ready to support new ethical directions moving forward. Now, I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Nur Aini Wadia binti Muhammad Zawadi. Metric number is 25006548. I will discuss for question what challenges will manager face in making this change. My first point is resistant to change. As long-standing employees are used to a strict hierarchical culture, Volkswagen has operated for decades under a strict, high-pressure, top-downward environment. Employees are used to being told what to do and being judged solely on performing results. Because this culture is deeply ingrained, any attempt to change it toward openness, transparency, ethical behavior feel unfamiliar and threatening. Employees might feel safer sticking to how things have always been done. Furthermore, managers may resist losing power or changing their leadership style. Managers at Volkswagen who benefit from old system may resist changes that decentralize decision-making, increase transparency, also will bring in new leaders. For my second point is deeply abandoned culture. Volkswagen culture developed over decades and described as confident, cutthroat, and insular. Insular culture means little open to outside ideas and limited collaboration. Because of this behavior were accepted for so long, employees believe secrecy was the right way to operate. Likewise, changing values and behavior is slow and uncomfortable. For a third point is fear of transparency. Employees may feel unsafe sharing honest concern after years of punishment for speaking up. Building psychological safety requires time, consistency, and leadership credibility. For the last point is balancing change with business demand. Manager must implement organizational development change while also handling competition, electric vehicle transition, legal and financial fallout, and also rebuilding the brain. Change fatigue may occur. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Puteri Alia Balkis binti Mekat Aizam. My metric number is 24002755 and I will be explaining about the question 4, which is the reason why people resist change. The first one is fear of losing power and status. Volkswagen had a hierarchical performance-driven culture where upper management had strong control. Moving toward transparency and ethical behavior threatens existing power structures. The second one is fear of the unknown. Employees are unsure how the company will change after the scandal, especially with new technologies such as electric vehicles and autonomous driving. This uncertainty causes anxiety and resistance. Number 3, strong organizational culture. Volkswagen culture has long rewarded winning at any cost, such as a deep-rooted culture makes employees resistant to shifting towards ethics, responsibility, and compliance. Number 4, lack of trust in leadership. Because previous leaders hid the truth and initially denied wrongdoing, employees may doubt whether new changes are genuine or beneficial. Okay, next let's move on to types of resistance happening at Volkswagen with recommended approach to overcome them. For resistance at Volkswagen, first, distrust of leadership. Employees skeptical of their leader denied wrongdoing that admitted it later. For recommended approach, transparent communication and trust building. For rational, honest updates, admitting mistakes, and open forum rebuild credibility and reduce skepticism. The second resistance of Volkswagen is a fear of losing status or job security. Managers or employees worried about punishment or blame. The recommended approach is incentive and recognition. And the rationale is reward ethical behavior and innovation, shifting motivation from fear of punishment to pride in achievement. Number 3, comfort with existing culture. Volkswagen cutthroat insular culture rewarded results at any cost. The recommended approach is culture shift through role modeling. As for the rationale, leader must demonstrate openness, collaboration, and ethical responsibility to replace fear-driven norms. For next resistance at Volkswagen, number 4, perceived threat to competence. Employees' anxiety about new skills needed for electric or autonomous vehicle. The recommended approach is training and skill development. For rational, reskilling programs empower employees, reduce anxiety, and prepare them for future technologies. Last but not least, number 5, loss of control. Decisions improve from the top, title employee voice. For recommended approach, employee involvement in change process. And the rationale, involving employees in shaping new values and project increase ownership and reduce resistance. That's all from me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Hi, my name is Auni Huzaifa and I'm Bachelor of BA student. So now I will be presenting question 5 for case study 1, which discuss whether an innovative culture is always at odds with an ethical culture or if both can exist together. To explain this, I will be using the Volkswagen emission scandal as the main example. In this case, Volkswagen is one of the world's most recognized car brands, faced one of the biggest ethics scandals in business history. The company had installed special software known as defeat device in millions of diesel cars. At first, many people saw this as clever engineering, that such a kind of smart innovation. but in reality, it was a deliberate act of deception. Volkswagen's desire to be the world's number one car maker led to an environment where employees felt pressure to achieve results at any cost. Innovation was used not to protect the environment, but to manipulate it. This brings us to our central question. Is an innovative culture always going to be at odds with an ethical culture? The Volkswagen scandal might make it seem that innovation and ethics cannot coexist. It is because that being creative and being honest are two different paths. However, as we will discuss, the real issue is not innovation itself, but the values and culture guiding it. When innovation is driven by integrity, transparency, and responsibility, it can support ethical goals. For example, through developing clean technology and sustainable vehicles. But when innovation is driven by fear and competition, it can easily cross ethical boundaries. Does innovation always conflict with ethics? The truth is, it doesn't have to. Innovation and ethics can work together when a company's culture supports both values. The main problem at Volkswagen was not innovation itself, but a toxic culture that focused only on results. Employees were afraid to fail or speak up, and leadership didn't encourage open discussion about ethics. To prevent this, companies must build culture that promote open communication, where employees can question decisions without fear. They should have clear ethical guidelines so that innovation stays responsible. Most importantly, strong ethical leadership must show that success is not just about being first, but doing what's right. When these values exist, innovation can thrive responsibly. For instance, companies like Tesla and Patagonia prove that innovation guided by ethics can lead to progress that benefit both business and society. In conclusion, Volkswagen case shows that innovation and ethics are not enemies. There are two sides of the same coin. Innovation drives progress, while ethics ensures that progress is sustainable and trustworthy. When innovation is not guided by moral values, it leads to short-term gains but long-term damage. But when companies intentionally balance creativity with integrity, they build stronger reputation, loyal customers, and lasting success. So here, Volkswagen experience is a reminder that every organization must nurture both innovation and ethics. True progress happens only when creative ideas are developed responsibly with honesty, transparency, and lasting success. That's all for me.
Now, we will present case study 2, which is the next big thing.
Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Puteri Alia Balkis binti Megat Aizam. My metric number is 24002755. Me and my friends Yaya will present about summary of cases 2. Kevin Blank, special team captain in mid-1990s for University of Maryland football teams, created Under Armour after wanting a t-shirt that stayed light and dry during football game without having to change repeatedly. He developed the first Under Armour compression shirt after a year of testing different fabrics. The product became a hit among athletes as the product improved athlete performance and offered comfort. Under Armour grew rapidly from a college startup that sells their product to teams and schools into US $5 billion company in 22 years. Under Armour then expanded their market from apparel and footwear to underwear, wearable fitness tech, and accessories.
Moving on with the sixth point of the summary, the next big thing. Kevin Plank used his athletic network to promote his products, and soon joined by Kip Falks, a Maryland lacrosse player who used the same 6-degree strategy to expand reach in the lacrosse world. Under Armour then entered the mass market through Alliance, which is known now as Dick's, in 2000, which today most of its sales comes from wholesaling to retailers like Dick's. Although Under Armour achieved strong marketing success, the brand still emphasized innovation, shown by its heavily protected R&D lab, where access is limited to a small group of authorized employees. In 2017, Under Armour faced revenue decline, leading to layoff of top executive and 2% of its workforce, while also facing challenges connecting with its female customers. Under Armour admitted enterprise resource planning implementation problems, which hurts its financial performance. Despite this setback, the company aims to push innovation and grow beyond its usual apparel, with Plank committed to technology-driven products. That's all from me. I will now pass to the next person.
Hello everyone. So now I will be answering discussion question for question 1, which discuss Under Armour's approach to innovation and whether this type of innovation is expected in the athletic wear company. Well, to begin with, Under Armour's innovation strategy is strongly centered around solving real athletic problems. The company actually began when its founder, Kevin Plank, identified a personal issue he faced as an athlete, where the traditional cotton shirt become heavy and uncomfortable due to sweat. And instead of accepting that problems, he designed a new type of fabric that stay light and dry. Well, this single solution was later expanded into a full product line, addressing a similar challenges faced by thousands of athletes. So, Under Armour's innovation is driven by a genuine understanding of athlete pain points and turning those challenges into practical solutions. Next, Under Armour's innovation is technology-driven and performance-enhancing. The company invests significant resources into research and development to create a technological advanced product that support athletic performance. For example, they work on performance shirts that integrate technology to regulate body temperature or even monitor an athlete's heart rate. Well, this shows that Under Armour does not only focus on appearance or style, they also aim to push the limits of what athletic wear can do by combining a traditional sport apparel with modern technology. Next, is this type of innovation is expected in the athletic wear company? And the answer is yes. This type of innovation is expected in the sports apparel industry. Firstly, the market is extremely competitive and brand needs to innovate continuously to meet changing consumer needs. Athletes and today expect products that are not only comfortable but also capable of enhancing the performance. Secondly, many leading brands invest heavily in new materials, design and technologies. Major brands such as Nike and Adidas also invest heavily in developing advanced material and design to enhance the athlete's comfort and ability. This is because consumers increasingly value apparel that offers added benefits such as breathability, durability, and performance tracking. Therefore, innovation becomes a necessity rather than options. Next, some companies differentiate themselves by combining traditional product features with modern technological elements. This approach allows them to offer something unique compared to competitors. Under Armour follow this direction by blending the performance fabric with technological integrated function. Finally, when innovation becomes part of the company core identity, it strengthens the brand. For Under Armour, innovation is not just a department, it is part of their overall strategy, guiding their product development and shaping how consumers perceive the brand. Overall, Under Armour's approach to innovation is built on solving real athletic problems and integrating advanced technology to improve the performance. Well, this type of innovation is indeed expected in athletic wear companies today, as it helps the brand to stay competitive, meet evolving customer expectations, and strengthen their identity in the market.
Hi, my name is Nur Aini Wadia binti Muhammad Zawadi. Matrix number is 25006548. I will discuss question 2. What do you think Under Armour's culture might be like in regards to innovation? My first point is tolerance of the impractical. They are encouraging creative products ideas that may seem unrealistic at first. Under Armour is not just making clothes. They are integrating technology and science. For example is heart monitoring shirt, spin-inspired shoes, water-repellent material, and body cooling apron. In this slide is the example of heart monitoring shirt. Some monitoring that we don't know that will help coaches and players understand their performance in real time. The potential of this technology is Coaches knew more about athletes' vital states. They could make smarter decisions about who to sit and who to play based on who seemed injured, tired, or who just wasn't trying terrible hard. For a second point is acceptance of ambiguity. Under Armour pursuit of the next defining product means employees must work without always knowing what the final solution will look like. They also encouraging experimentation. The company tests new material, technologies and product concepts, showing a culture that supports trial and error rather than guarantee outcomes. This creates a culture where employees are motivated to be bold, take risks, outperform, competitive, and think differently. Employees also can explore new technologies such as wearable fitness sensors and self-cooling t-shirts. This culture might open employees to new ideas. For my third point is low external control. They believe in shaping their own success. Under Armour acts if external forces, competitors, and market trends do not fully control their destiny, but they focus on building their own path through innovation. Under Armour also think that being proactive rather than reactive. Instead of waiting trends, Under Armour creates them and showing a mindset of controlling outcome internally. For the next point, I will pass to Shihani to continue. Thank you.
My name is Shihani Safia, metric number 240000730, and I will continue for the next point. Plank's decision to expand from selling to teams and schools to entering the mass market through galleons demonstrates a high tolerance of risk, which is one of the cultural variables that stimulates innovation. He was willing to leave a secure, familiar customer base and take larger financial and competitive risks in order to scale the business. Another important characteristic seen in Under Armour's culture is its focus on ends rather than means. This can be seen through the company's philosophy: we have not yet built our defining product. It shows that Under Armour is always chasing future goals, which is to define their product not by its logo, but by improved function and innovation. For Under Armour, the end goal is making athletes better, and means to reach this end includes developing better designs, experimenting with new materials, and improving product technology. Lastly, Under Armour's culture emphasizes continuous innovation, but the company does not innovate alone. Their open system focus means they are actively interacting with external environment, including customer feedback, market trends, and also collaborations. For example, the struggle to attract female customers forced them to pay attention to external signals such as the rise of women's athleisure, which then guided their innovation and led to new product designs and collaborations with female athletes such as Kelsey Plum and Diamond Miller. This openness is also seen in their partnership with Jujutsu Kaisen, where Under Armour drew inspirations from global anime trends to create a limited edition collection that is appealing to younger consumers. Now I will pass to the next presenter.
Hello there, my name is Faris bin Feroz Deni, metric number 250748881, and I will be discussing question 3. How might design thinking help Under Armour improves its innovation efforts? Before I answer that question, first and foremost, we need to understand what design thinking is. Design thinking is a way of identifying and solving problems that focuses on people first, instead of only using data and cost to decide what to build. There are many different types of design thinking model out there that exist, but what all of them have in common is these 5 stages. The first is to empathize. Watch and talk to real people to find out their real problems and feelings. The second, define the problem clearly, the human-centered way rather than the business goals. The third, ideate. Try to think many ideas to find a potential solutions. Fourth, prototype. Make quick, cheap versions of the idea. This quickly allows early testing and feedback. 5. Test those prototypes with real users, learn and improve. Now that we understand design thinking, let's answer the question: how might design thinking help Under Armour improve its innovation efforts? In summary, Under Armour's problems from the case study are revenue declines, lack of established relations with female customers, and failed enterprise resource planning implementations that caused operational and financial problems. So, by using design thinking, we can apply the 5 stages to not only improve the innovation efforts, but as well as to solve Under Armour's problems. First stage is to empathize, like do field research or interviews with diverse athletes, including women and casual users, to find real pain points. This will uncover wants and needs from users. The second stage is to clearly find the problem statements. Like for example, how do we make high performance tops for women to feel comfortable wearing both in sports and everyday life? Thirdly, is to ideate. For example, management teams can brainstorm ideas or run cross-functional idea sessions to create many solutions for the problem. Then, on the fourth stage is to build quick and cheap prototypes of the product from the ideas that were generated. For example, make early samples of a biometric shirts that not only can monitor your heart rate, but it can track your body temperature and maybe track your sweat levels as well to tell you when to replenish your electrolytes. The last stage of design thinking is to test and use the prototypes for athletes and volunteer subjects. This is to collect early feedback and learn how to improve. This lets Under Armour fix any product flaws before big production and reducing risk of costly failures. In conclusion, design thinking helps businesses approach innovation with ease by simply paying attention to what customers need and want. This both improves the product and reduces any implementation mistakes like the ERP issue. And as a last remark, there is a sentence from the textbook that perfectly describes design thinking as approaching management problems as how designers approach design problems. This just means that managers are usually not directly responsible for the product design, but rather they can still make decisions to solve the issues that arise, like a designer.
Now, let's jump to the interpretation of the company's philosophy. The sentence "we have not yet built our defining product" expresses an innovative perspective based on continuous improvement. It implies that the corporation thinks that its biggest achievement is still yet to come. Despite its praised successes, this way of thinking embodies ambition, humility, and a refusal to settle for less. By encouraging this way of thinking, Under Armour communicates to staff members that innovation is a continuous duty rather than a goal to be accomplished and commemorated. Additionally, the statement supports an ongoing culture of inquiry. Workers are encouraged to push limits, take chances, and explore innovative concepts that could lead to their next big product. Instead of being content with what is currently offered, the organization forces its employees to constantly inquire, what could be better? This culture is reinforced through investment in exclusive lab, advanced design technologies, and high expectation for creative performance. Now, what does it say about the innovation then? For Under Armour, innovation is not a one-time thing event, but they see it as an ongoing cycle that never ends. It's this belief that keeps them focused on the future and inspires their non-stop effort to always be better. Innovation is at the very heart of the company and a long-term growth strategy. As evidenced through the major investment in future-focused lab, athlete scanning equipment, and revolutionary product R&D. Everything from solving to the very basic yet significant problem of athletes struggling in heavy sweatshirt t-shirt, to use of technology, design thinking, and experimentation to usher in performance-first solution, a problem-solving orientation has continued to drive its approach. Together, these elements make innovation not just a process at Under Armour, but a defining part of who the company is and how it competes.
Managers in a variety of industries can learn a number of valuable lessons from Under Armour's innovative strategy. First, by reinforcing the idea that a company's finest work is always ahead. A forward-looking perspectives help avoid complacency. Additionally, managers should foster an environment that encourages experimentations by providing workers with the autonomy, tools, and psychological security that is necessary to try new things and take calculated risk. Since Under Armour's success began by addressing a real issue that athletes experience, it is crucial to concentrate on actual client demands. A company's capacity for innovation can also be greatly increased by investing in manpower and technology, such as cutting-edge labs and specialized knowledge. By bringing together various viewpoints from design, engineering, marketing, and research, fostering cross-disciplinary collaboration enhances creativity even more. In order to keep innovation mission-driven and strategically relevant, efforts must also be in line with an organizational purpose. Turning setbacks into development opportunities require learning from errors and operational obstacles like Under Armour's ERP, enterprise resource planning, implementation issues. Finally, as Under Armour's early dependence on athlete networks to acquire momentum shows that carefully utilizing relationships may speed up innovation and the market uptake.